Hello there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everybody's doing well. City Skylines, part one of our new attempt at learning how to play the game and hoping the game cooperates. I think we've learned quite a bit. I hope you agree. Long way to go, of course, but I feel very comfortable now. Going back in and trying again and again and again. So I hope you guys agree. Also, real quick, I want to apologize. My voice is going to sound more nasally than normal because it is now allergy season officially, and naturally, I'm one of the first ones to get affected by it, so I apologize. Not much I can do about it. Anyway, this is the changes. These are the changes to our islands map, which again is temperate. It is not I kept calling it islands in my last video, and it's tropical. It is not a tropical map. It is temperate, which is what I like. I prefer temperate, and you know what? We have to plan an European. I haven't done that yet. But anyway, I did make some, well, actually, this was rather flat. It was this area, and I think you can see the ridge right here. It looked a bit like this over here, and I tried to flatten it as best I could. I know people shouldn't. I know a lot of people probably aren't a fan of doing that, and I'm not going to argue the point. I probably agree. The trouble is, I am not good at working this type of terrain, fitting builds in. I am working on it. So like when I'm not recording, I will go off camera and try to put roads and buildings down here, and it's not working. I know that City Planner tells you to follow the terrain, and I understand how that works, but I still have to practice. So I did try my best to smooth things out. I did not worry too much about it here, and you can plainly tell that this is our industry area at the moment. And this was just to get the game up and running. And the road is a little, goes up and down. Now, here's the other thing, though, that confuses me. I can see this being an issue. Okay, this is probably not a good idea. But I have looked at maps in so many different ways, shapes, and forms over the years because my weird brain could never fathom flooding. And I always wondered, why doesn't the water just... We had a massive flood one year up in Flint. And it was amazing how the water went all the way up, in some cases, to the third and fourth floor of buildings. And my mind, as unformed and immature as it is, I could not fathom it. I'm like, why isn't the water dispersing and just going straight across the state? I couldn't compute it. I knew there was a logical answer. My brain just could not form it. So I started studying, and the only thing that snapped into place were roads that do this. I was watching news footage of another flooded area, and they had a road just like that. I mean, there was nothing around for miles, right? But there was water everywhere, and the only thing that you could see distinctly were the roads that went like this. This part was peaking above the water, and then it went underwater. And then the road came back up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes perfect sense to me now. So I don't mind this. What I do mind is this, the gouging. This is annoying. And I don't believe that it's as realistic as some people want you to believe it is. You would never build, especially a hefty build, on ground that is this unstable. So you would definitely work the ground first before you even started building. And that's as far as the height of realism goes for me in this game anyway. And then you know how I feel about these high ridges. I don't like them, but I do like my little lumpies here in the river that make it look like there's little waterfalls. And yes, see, every attempt I made just made things worse. But this is another one of those. Over here, it's nice and flat, and then it goes up, and then it comes back way down, and then it goes up, and then it goes all the way down to the river. And then you look at the river, and it's like, well, if it's so low here, why is it so high here, you know? It's crazy. I do like this effect. You don't get this on all maps, and I don't know if that has anything to do with the settings. I think this is on Lush or something. But I do like this rock work better than, oh, pardon me, than the dark brown. Now, I did not touch this, but I did try to form a couple of the areas a little bit better. So we haven't come over here yet, but if you will recall from the last video, our industry area is going to be, I believe, in this area here. Because we have some ore, oil, farming, and I don't know, forestry here, forestry there. There's also a rail that goes through it. So I like that idea. I'm not unhappy with that. And then I had to rework the roads. Now from my convoluted map, yes, I use MS Paint. I cannot afford, what is it called? Photoshop or something? It's ridiculously expensive. You're paying them like $8 billion over a lifetime just to use it. I think that's crazy. They are all connected. All of my outside connections are connected. And they all come into and out of our main starting square here. There's nothing down here but water and these oil islands. So we don't have that much to work with. It's 60% buildable space. But I should double and triple check my railway lines and my connections because I'm scared. But they all look and work at this point seemingly fine. This looks odd. I know it does. I left it there because I'm not worried about this area just yet. But that road, it does that when you elevate it, and I think that's crazy. Looks like the Mackinac Bridge going across land, and I don't like it. So this area here is what I really needed to rework. And again, this is an outside connection going to another outside connection, but with a connection in and out of the city. And we have the rail. I brought one here, and this one goes, I believe, here. Yeah. And then they hook up there. I think I've given them enough space. I hope I have. I'm watching them going back and forth without any problems. And I do believe I mentioned in the last video that the only issue I never had was with cargo. Both shipping and trains. They just never gave me a hard time. But yeah, I did a lot. I haven't touched these yet because, again, we're not out here. And when I did the cleanup, I got rid of all of my roads. And most of them were Yumbles interchanges. I got rid of those. But I'm probably going to end up at some point having to bring them back. This is vanilla, but it's the biggest one I could find. So I just plunked it down. I'm not good at this either. I know I failed to mention this in lots of previous videos, but I do practice. I don't record what I'm doing, but I spend a lot of time trying to learn how to make roads, trying to learn how to make better gridded cities, trying to understand how this game actually works, and it doesn't really show when it comes to gameplay time because I have a lot more difficulty than most people getting things to stick. I just feel like I'm back in Mr. Poban's 8th grade algebra class. And even he hated my guts. He gave up on me so early on, and he thought I was this drug addict who just didn't care, you know? And I'm like, well, you little prick. I happen to care. You're just not saying anything that makes sense to me, okay? Whatever. Okay, so here's our city. Nothing big. Oh, you know what? Before we do this, oh, well, I can't. I'll do it after our city tour. Our town tour. We are at Busy Town at the moment. And I am paying very close attention to our green, blue, yellow lines, stats down here. I'm taking my time. And I'm trying to remember needs, if that makes any sense. As you can tell, I'm not really going in and taking out what I don't like. But this is vanilla. I did not give them any specific themes or anything yet. Because my thinking is this is like just a suburb. It's a suburb of a city that will be. But I don't want to neglect it and I don't want to abandon it. If we ever get that far in this game, I would like to keep coming back here and checking on these guys and making sure that they have their needs met, and maybe we should give them a better, because over time, and especially over decades, cities do evolve, especially the housing. If you're starting to make more money but you absolutely love where you live, you're going to improve your house. You're going to make it look nicer. And if the city allows you to expand or add another floor, you're going to do it. So that's all I'm mentioning. So like services and things, the fire, police, health. I've got Grandma and Grandpa in here and the kids, the daycare. Lots of parking. And that's what I really wanted to show you was the parking. So I guess we are going to come out of here. We're not making money, but I kind of racked it up couple times before I even built the city, and I was working on things like this. I would turn the game on just to check to make sure my traffic was still okay and that the water wasn't flooding everything. And we ended up quite a few simoleons in the hole. It's going to take a while to get it back. But we're up to 47. 42 is Busy Town. And we need to get to 6,500, which is Big Town. But anyway, what I wanted to show you, I am no good with usernames and acronyms, so I do apologize. I'm going to say Wyrum. You mentioned the parking, so this is how I have it set. Enable more realistic parking. And I'm going to assume that this means that they will use parking garages and parking lots as opposed to highways and main roads. But at the moment, I don't have the, what is this here? So you hit P, see, and then you can turn this off just by holding shift. I mean, I could do this, but I'm wondering if this, because this is kind of crazy. I don't know if they've cleared out. There's parking all over the place. And it could be that setting. They're just everywhere. And this is our main street. And I am sorry, but where I live, you just don't do this. This is illegal. You cannot do this where I live. These are main roads, and they're only for cars going to and from. You have to go off and park somewhere else. So our parking, you would have like a side road that would go here, come behind the building to park, or you would come off the main road. There'd be the road here, and then your parking would be in front of wherever it was you wanted to go. This is completely illegal. Parking on a main road like this. You do this. But it is where all our shops are, and boy, are they parking, aren't they? It's crazy. Now, we do have some towns. I'm not going to say that they don't do this. When you get into that town, you have to leave this road and go off. And then you drive around the little town, and you can park anywhere you want on a road. You just cannot park on the main road going into that city. Look at the parking. It's kind of crazy. I didn't get to do too much in the way of beautification. I'm trying to get this up and running, and I'm looking at my stats. What is this? What the heck is this? Is this a real thing? I think I saw Jeremy Clarkson in one of these, but it had a plastic hood on the top of it. That is crazy, and I would not trust that on a main road where I live, let me tell you. So beautification and stuff, no, I haven't really gotten anywhere with it. I'm happy with what we have so far. Everything seems to be working okay. Look at the parking. People like our city, and that's a good thing, right? But I thought this is what realistic parking meant. That's all I wanted to point out to. I don't want to butcher anybody's name. It's Wyram. I'm assuming this is what realistic parking means. I hope. Could be wrong. And I did not go in here. Well, I did actually. I knew these were going to crop up. But when you delete what you don't like and you historicalize what you do, and then you go on to something else and you come back and they're back. It's like, no, I just got rid of you. So I do have the grid out. Yes, it is very gritty. But I'm not as displeased with the look of this map as it was at the start. I think we can do something with this, and I think we can make it look relatively pleasant. Ignore this. I know. It did that, and it's all lumpy bumpy, but I haven't gotten over there yet. I was concentrating more on this area, trying to figure out what we should do moving forward. I don't believe we should have an exclusive industry area. I think I agree that some industry should be, like, say, we'll take this little spot here and we'll move it as far as we can from people. But the game's ground pollution and air pollution mechanics are ridiculous. Oh, maybe I could go into Google Maps and show you, but it's probably boring. We have a lot of industry in the south end of where I live, and then the south end of this city that butts right up against ours. And it's not the polluting kind, it's just a lot of manufacturing that actually is still in business. Car parts and all kinds of stuff. And they are just lined in one particular area, and then you have all city, and then maybe like 5 or 6 miles up, you get another pocket of industry. And it's directly across the street from where people live. Granted, most of it is separated by a very major highway, but I think going forward, I'm going to attempt that. I am not going to super separate my industry. I mean, it makes them have to go that much farther for work. You might notice I did give them ways to walk, and I love the fact that they immediately hop on these things. I wish I had a bike walking path, and that might be something that I would either need another DLC pack for or an asset on the workshop. But right now I only have bike path or walking. But I'm pretty sure that a bike can use a walking path. I hope so. But they are utilizing it to get over here, and I don't know how fair that is. I also have to go and research when buses and metros become available, because in case you didn't notice, I'll go out of here again. I'm back to the infinites. I checked them all off, everything but hard mode. I'm not taking any more chances. That is the second time I went into bankruptcy and lost a game. I will never let that happen again. Never. Oh, and another thing I want to quickly mention here before we leave our glorious new city here. The 81 Tiles mod that is updated offers you the choice to use just electrification and pipes without having to install pipes or overhead, the wires, whatever they're called. But you do have to include the services buildings. And it's an option. You don't have to choose it. I did because I thought, I want to see how this works. I'm curious if it even does work. So you won't be seeing the overhead utilities, and I won't be plunking down any water pipes. So that's as far as I got. That's everything I've done until now. These are our stats. I think we're doing okay. This looks nice, yeah. I don't think we're at the stage where we need bus service. It would be nice to get them over into industry, but I'd like to get industry off there and move it over here, much closer to where they live, and then the walk won't be so bad. I thought this would be huge, and now I'm rethinking it. The only issue I'm having at this point is, where are we going to put our big city? I thought that this area would be kind of cool, just having it stand up in the center of the map. Just to have our big city right here. And then all the rest would just be outliers. I don't think this is the type of map that would have huge city. You never know though. Things change, my mind changes. But at this point, that's how I'm thinking. Maybe just one nice corridor of high rises, but we will get to that bridge when we get to that bridge. All right. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I showed you enough. And I thank you very much for supporting my channel, sticking with me to the end here. Really appreciate that. Like the video if you did. Subscribe if you're interested. Take very good care of yourselves. Have an absolutely fabulous day. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.